What I'm going to talk about is briefly about the role of women, half of our population, in the pro-democracy movement in Iran, specifically in the process of election, the 10th presidential election, and the post-election movement, the Green Movement, that we all know about. Women's massive participation in civil rights protests has impressed many, especially the Western media, and has drawn the attention of the world to Iranian women and their very active and critical role. Even women in the region, women in Egypt, women in Pakistan, women in Turkey, they're all impressed with the active, massive role that women are playing in pro-democracy movement in Iran. There are interesting characteristics of this participation that make it distinctive from what women did during the 1979 revolution, which is actually part of the characteristics of the current movement, which makes it different from the revolutionary movement of 1979. First of all, you have all noticed that women, with thousands of them participating in these demonstrations and also in the election process, in a non-segregated manner. After 30 years, we witnessed women coming to the streets in thousands, protesting, demanding respect for their rights, demanding respect for their freedom of choice, alongside men, not segregated, not behind men, sometimes even in front of men. They are actually playing leading roles, not just following certain leadership. They are also representing all walks of life. They are not just these so-called westernized upper class, or what in some supporters of Ahmadinejad has called susul farangi hay shumal shab. No, they come. Some of them are veiled, some of them are barely covered with some just a scarf, some of them are looking very secular, some of them are looking very devout Muslim. There are ethnic minorities there are religious minorities in this movement. It is very diverse and inclusive. It really hurts people like me, and I know people in Iran, when those who should be our allies in the West, some of them, especially some of the old leftists who are suffering from lazy hermeneutics, like James Petrov and others, who are calling our movement just limited to some westernized upper middle class northern Tehrani, as if that is such an orientalist and patronizing approach to our movement, thinking that Iranians are not capable of asking for their civil rights, as if we move only when we have economic problems, as if we only move when the foreign policy of Ahmadinejad is so outrageous, when he denies Holocaust, when he confronts everybody, almost all the important forces in the world, and puts Iran in danger of a war and military attack. And people think, okay, maybe some people oppose economic hardship, 20% of inflation, unemployment, especially among women. But Iranians, they are Eastern people after all. They are Muslims. They don't care about civil rights and democracy. No, we are going to say that yes, economic factors have been important for people's uprising. The failure of foreign policy, the disastrous foreign policy of Ahmadinejad has been an important factor. But most of all, Iranian people's civil rights, dignity, human rights have been violated by this government. Ahmadinejad, under the so-called social safety plan, طرح امنیت ملی, has humiliated all our youth, has humiliated our women, has humiliated people's basic right to choose what they want to wear and how they want to appear in the public. They have censored and closed our free and relatively free and independent media. Ahmadinejad has put in jail and closed down more newspapers than anybody else. They have not even tolerated a couple of human rights centers we have. They cannot even tolerate Shirin Ebadi. How many times they have been threatening the life and freedom of Shirin Ebadi and her colleagues. They have even closed down the Center for Defense of Human Rights in Iran. So the issue of human rights, the issue of civil rights are very prominent and important cause of this uprising. And among them, women's rights, because half of the population are women, and the youth and the younger generations, 70% that make up 70% of Iranian population, make up the core of this civil rights movement in Iran. And half of this youth are also female, right? So women, therefore, make an important, critical part of this very non-violent, non-ideological, post-Islamist, post-revolutionary, non-revolutionary, and non-violent, non-sectarian movement. And these characteristics, which are rather feminine, this movement is so poetic. You heard Dr. Kamali, you heard Janab Tahirzadeh today, how poetic they were. If you see people, while the Basij and the security guards are carrying guns and baton and tear gas, people are carrying pieces of poetry. They are all talking about Saadi, Hafiz, Mawlavi, Sohrab Sepehri, Shamlu. When as very beautifully Dr. Kamali said, آنقدر هست که بانگ جرسی میآید. And even the color of this movement, green color, which is so deeply rooted in our, not only in our religious culture, but also in the culture of environmental protection, in the peace culture. It is so national and also international and transnational. All people in the world understand when we carry